You sure can. It used to be the way we had
Mr. Jan, how are you?
Hello?
It's good to see you.
You have some bills already?
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
I don't have a
You came on then.
Oh, yeah. Take a picture. Cool up there.
I went looking for the. Up there.
Yeah.
It's nice in the summer when we're down here shop 90 degrees. Time to go.
Well, good. Bob, man. How's it going? I think she is. She said, oh.
Yeah, just. I got all mine this year. I'm like, I squeezed the drop. That's the, yeah, that is
Name it, we can work through it.
Everything good? I'm doing well.
I'm in trouble.
Everyone please stand. Call the Urban Board Mayor and Alderman meeting in order. Thursday, September 28th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. I will give an indication that Chief Wilson will lead us with the pledge of the flag. Would you please bow our heads to pray? Precious Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today, Lord. I pray, Lord, for each person here that's represented, Lord. I pray, Lord, your blessings upon them and their family, Lord. I pray for our members of our BMA, Lord, that you'll give us the wisdom and the knowledge to represent you in the way that you would want us to, and for the betterment of our city. Lord, I ask this in my precious Son's name. Amen. Chief Tilson.
Attention, salute, pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll?
Alderman Edwards.
Walking in.
Alderman Hatcher. Here. Alderwoman Huskins.
Here.
Alderman Baker. Here. Alderwoman Vaughn. Mayor White.
Here. I'm glad to see Alderwoman Edwards back after her medical procedure. Glad that went well. Move on to number 4, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting on September 11th. They are in your packet. Are there any discussions on these minutes? Okay, do I have a motion for approval? Okay, Alderwoman Edwards made the motion, and Alderman Baker made the second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, citizens. This is the time during our meeting that we allow citizens of the city to speak to the BMA concerning any subject that you would like to discuss with us about. It's not a question and answer session. It's a session for you to come and state your name and your address and the purpose that you want to speak to us about. You need to be a citizen of the city or an owner of a business of the city. Okay? With that being said, would anyone here would like to address the BMA, please come forward. Okay, come forward. State your name, your address, and your purpose.
Good evening, Matt Moses, 2 Jones Branch Road, Erwin, Tennessee. That is in the county. I also own property in the city. Thank you all for what you do and the time you give. Excited about what's happening here. And these are probably, Kathy, maybe this is more for you, but I'm curious, having just come back from state tourism stuffs meetings, I'm curious where we are on, they're very serious about the lodging tax, and we have one of the largest in the state. That's fine, not complaining. But if those rates were changed by the city since, I believe, 2020, might be not quite accurate there, but then a certain amount of those is supposed to go back into promoting that resource, bettering access, that kind of thing. So that would be my question for the board, and perhaps that's a later answered question.
Mr. Bailey, can you get Mr. Moses those answers?
I'll get that to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak to the BMA? Okay, with that being said, thank you. Moving on, report from the members of the board or other officials. Are there any other reports or anything the BMA would like to discuss at this time?
No, but just for the board's information, I did attend the ECD conference, the governor's conference, and that was very beneficial. All 95 counties did receive the 3-star program, and I was there to take a photo on behalf of the town of Erwin with Laura Rogers from the county Univoid to accept that grant, and we're very excited about what ECD is doing.
I know I speak for the BMA, thank you for your dedication to all of those meetings, and I know that makes you a better alderman, board member, and makes us a better board also. Thank you.
No problem.
Now, communications from the mayor. I do have some communications, hopefully it will not be long, but I would like to give a report on the Linear Trail Bridge. This bridge is near completion due to the outstanding leadership of Mr. Bailey, our city recorder, and his resourcefulness, reaching out to Mr. Haynes, our county road supervisor, using those resources to save this board and its citizens over $200,000. All we have to finish there is the paving and railing. Mr. Bailey informed me today that the paving is complete. So we're very close to finishing that project. And that is because of what Mr. Bailey has done. And I congratulate you, sir. Thank you. The Fishery Park Playground is near completion. Mr. Bailey plans to open this facility to the public this Monday, October the 2nd, 2023. Again, Tim, congratulations on the top of that. I'd like to give a quick report on our city finances. On September the 15th, was a week ago, our city paid in full the debt owed concerning the utility infrastructure plan related to the city revitalization. This was a $350,000 debt. This amount saves the city $37,500 a year. We have several long-term debts. The first being the city revitalization plan, which was taken out on April 9th, 2014 at 1.5% interest, which we still owe nearly $3 million. Our yearly payment is $173,931, and this maturity date for this loan is June 1st, 2039. Our second largest debt is owed on the public works side at $1.3 million. This debt was taken out December the 15th, 2009. Our yearly payment is $50,000, and our balance is $835,000. The maturity date for this loan is June 1st, 2034. Our city sales tax is $40,000 ahead compared to last year, which is good news. This board has not added any new debt to the city since I became mayor. I believe most of this board feels the way that I do, and that we are striving to repair our infrastructure needs. But we want to do this when debt comes off, not to add any new debt, unless in case of emergencies. As I just mentioned, we have saved over $200,000 on the Linear Trail Bridge, $37,500 yearly on the utility note being paid off. So our next major debt will mature on September the 10th, 2025, taking off $1.2 million of debt. With this new financial flexibility, whoever is mayor, and those who will sit on that BMA at that time, will have the opportunity to make a major contribution to repairing our infrastructure. If I am reelected in 2024, in 2025, with the borrowing power that's going to have, not to add new debt, but to replace debt, I will bring forth legislation to begin the process of repairing our sidewalks, our drainage systems, and the linear trail. Quickly, I would like to mention the original sidewalk project created by Mr. Wilcox, our former city recorder. Last summer, the price tag to redo all the sidewalks, remove the trees from the areas of access was $667,000. So that was a right of way. And Mr. Bailey and I have just begun discussions about creating a plan to bring to the BMA, which would repair instead of replacing sidewalks. If this plan is approved, this will save, I believe, the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. Concerning the linear trail, when Mr. Bailey was our public works director, I asked him to give me an eyeball estimate on what it would cost to completely repair the trail. He stopped at $1 million. So after the sidewalk ideals are put into plan, which will go to the BMA for discussion and possible revision and hopefully an approval, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Forbes, and myself will begin a discussion concerning repairing the trail instead of replacing it, which I feel will also save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Since being mayor, I've always wanted to go into a work session with the BMA with a plan. Now, the BMA, returning voting member, has the authority and the responsibility to discuss, review, revise, accept, or deny any plan. In no way will I attempt to usurp the legislative checks and balances of the governing body. Our paving project began during Mayor Hensley's last year in 2020 was completed just last week with Sanasta, Iona, and parts of South Elm being paved. This government pays for these paving phases by using the gas tax. $1 million note that was taken out in order to complete phase 1 will be paid off August the 1st, 2025. At this time, the BMA will have the opportunity to borrow another $1 million and begin phase 2 of the pavement project. Concerning our water issues, the drainage of the city, the First Century Development District plan concerning the storm drain using the ARPA money at the cost of over $900,000 is in place. We are just waiting for implementation. I've had many citizens call me this past summer complaining water runoff onto their property. Since our money is tight, there is only so much that we can do, and I'll give 2 examples. Ms. Joyce Edwards, Valley Street, called me over a month ago crying on the phone, asking would I come to see the water problem on her property. When I arrived, Ms. Edwards was in her driveway. She was soaking wet, showing me how the water is running from the city road into her yard and driveway, creating a muddy mess. I called Mr. Bailey and told him about the situation. The next day, he and I visited the issue at our property, and he directed Mr. Ford to repair the curb to stop the flow of water. Again, an excellent job with Mr. Bailey and Mr. Forbes. Another situation on 7th Street, Roger Kirk, the city resident, sent me a video showing after a hard rain how water flow, which we're responsible for, is flooding his yard, driveway, and garage. Mr. Forbes and I drove out to 7th Street shortly thereafter, which studied to see what was the cause of the water issue. According to Mr. Forbes, the issue is the street above 7th Street, next to Coach Fisher's house on 7th Street, where the underground drain is broken, releasing water downhill on Simmons and on Mr. Kirk's property. The issue now is for the city to fix the drain. Estimated cost could be between $10,000 to $25,000. We don't know the precise cost until we get a camera in that drain to view the damage. Today, I spoke with Mr. Forbes, and this is a high priority. So my final thoughts on the infrastructure are that we have a long way to go to get all of our aspects of our infrastructure up to par. I've explained the most urgent needs here tonight and the possible financial needs to reach those goals. Concerning these two examples, I have more complaints than the 2. So as mayor, since now we are coming out of some debt, which frees up some capital, I'm going to ask the BMA to focus on these infrastructure needs. Moving on now to another issue, Rise Erwin. In the bid packet that I received on the last page, I was listed as part of this proposal, we feel we need to acknowledge that in recent months, Mayor White and current members of the board of mayor and aldermen have not been supportive of Rise Erwin, as indicated in the following examples. 1, Villa was rejected from serving on the Unicoi County Public Library Board for being associated with Rise Erwin. Shane O'Hara was initially rejected from serving on the Unicoi County Public Library Board because he was associated with Rise Erwin. Upon dissolving his membership, he was accepted. Tim Bailey was not appointed as city recorder for the first time. He applied because Alderwoman Angie Vaughn assumed he was associated with Rise Erwin. Also in that packet, I received a letter from former Mayor Doris Hensley expressing her support for this organization. In that, this organization's vision was accepted by her and the BMA, which hired Rise Erwin's president, Jamie Rice, to be the city new communications director. From reading this letter from the former mayor and the proposal sent to me concerning the city festivals from this organization, Rise Erwin's vision for festivals and tourism was adopted by the previous governing body. Then a U.S. government teacher at our high school, which I teach the Constitution to our students, the Rise Erwin movement from its conception where citizens organized with this assembly, which is protected by the First Amendment, to petition the local government to create a new department for their vision, which is another First Amendment protection, was and is a beautiful example of citizens exercising their constitutional right. Mayor Hensley and that BMA had every right to create the new communications department and implement this organization's vision. However, I do want to state the financial facts. Since the creation of this department, the taxpayers have paid $671,000 since 2017 in the communications department. Plus, the events that our town pays for while this organization takes credit for. While using the gathering place as its focal point of activities, cost the taxpayers $213,000 to repair the gathering place, a piece of property that we don't even own. Also, this organization takes credit for placing our city in publications throughout the county promoting tourism. Elections bring privileges of government, the power of an elected executive and a legislature to implement policies. I cannot speak for my fellow board members on how they feel about this organization being Rise Erwin. But I feel that they have every right to their vision. However, I do not feel that the citizens should pay for that vision. As just stated, the city government spent $671,000 since the creation of the communication department, an additional $213,000 on the gathering place. That $884,000 could have been spent on the infrastructure needs of the city, on the two examples that I just mentioned. The next election in November of 2024, where my office is open, along with the other two board members, the main issue I believe should be, should the citizens want their tax dollars spent toward festivals and tourism or toward the infrastructure? Both cannot be achieved with local money. Concerning my vote against one, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, is set on the library. I felt his nomination was a conflict of interest because of the organizations he represents, pushed to have their vision as the official vision for the town of Erwin. My closing remarks to Rise Erwin are as follows. I honestly have no hard feelings toward him. Have your members who are citizens of our city run for elected office. Stay proud to the citizens that you are part of Rise Erwin. State your vision and let the people decide whether they want your vision for the city in which they have paid. There's my comments and thank you.
Mayor, if I could comment.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not really fair to say that we spent $800,000 on one department when that one individual brought in over $2 million in grants. We have no trouble accepting the diabetes grant, which is redoing the tennis courts, which you ran on, when we paid the tennis courts. We have no trouble
It wasn't
accepting
$2
that
million
grant.
grants.
Over the course of her term.
I've looked, I don't see.
Okay,
Now, they're
I'll
not
be glad to look
happening,
it
not happening in Mayor Henson's administration, they're not happening in mine.
Over the term from the inception of that commission being created until now, it's over $2 million.
I dispute that. The numbers.
Dispute it, the facts are the facts.
You don't have the facts.
I'll be glad to
Get
hear
the
it.
facts, and then if you stand, and I'll stand corrected. The fact
I'll be
of the
glad
matter-
you've been corrected a lot over your term.
That's right.
So I'll be glad to correct
That's
it.
fine, but the facts, the numbers that I stated are the numbers.
Sure.
They are the factual numbers that I asked for from our city financial records. We have spent $671,000 since 2017 from the communications department.
And how much has tourism in Unicoi County went up over that time?
Well,
How
where
much?
is it? Where is it? Where's the money?
Look at the numbers.
We had $79, we had $79 left in that change.
Pull the sales tax records for downtown alone, lodging
And I
tax.
know that, but still, as far as the operations of the government, we only had $79 left. And you talked to me about foot traffic, that you feel that the government should provide foot traffic for your businesses. Well, I don't. I think you should advertise for your business and you should provide.
You don't feel like it's the town's responsibility?
to market the town?
It is not the town's responsibility to
To
market your
market the
business.
town? It's not my.
It's your
It's your
fault.
Hey, I'm sorry, but this is not the way this goes.
Let's build sidewalks.
This is
for
not the
nobody.
way this goes.
So let's just.
Then let's not attack a group and not expect us to take
That's
action. That's also not the way that
I'll make
works.
one comment.
You can come up and make it.
That's gonna have to go both
We're
ways.
fine, come on, you're fine.
If the mayor's comments were gonna attack it and you.
Tommy, that's right.
You should have
I
asked
said
the
it's
public
true.
comments afterwards. This is not right.
Well,
Tommy, do you agree, you remember that we talked about the gathering
the
area?
gathering.
Gathering
Right,
place.
yeah.
You're saying that cost how much?
213,000.
Okay, why was that?
I don't know.
That's because, you said that was because of Rise?
No.
Because of the
No,
town?
not because of Rise.
That was because the water was coming in my building.
Okay, and you were upset, weren't you?
Oh, heck yeah, I was
What if it
upset.
was your house?
I would be upset
Okay,
too,
all right,
but this is
so,
the same thing.
all
But
I'm
that's
saying-
not the Rise's
I didn't say it was, you didn't listen to my comments. I said, because
You said
that
this
is
was
the
what
focal
you
point,
said.
the city put 213,000 in the gathering place.
Businesses, we're a sales tax driven state. Businesses bring in sales tax. Tourism brings in sales tax.
Okay?
We don't rely, our budget is not 100% based off property tax. So you have to have both. You have to have tourism. You have to have the business.
Tourism?
You have to have all.
How much money has been brought in tourism?
$11 million. Every household in the state of Tennessee,
No, I'm talking about the city.
$1,100 per year.
Well, we haven't had $7 million.
Okay, that number was.
That's, you're spending the money, not me.
$11 million last year.
That's the state of Tennessee.
In the Unicoi County,
Well, that's odd.
it's $1,100 per
Well,
individual.
that's odd. The county just raised taxes 17 cents.
We are not the county, but the
You
data
said
is
you're
the
the
data.
county.
Unicoi
Okay,
County.
get it back on track. Okay, no, the citizens, that's gone. I said my piece, there it is.
You can say his, but you can't say yours.
Yeah.
I gave you, the point of order is this, we're getting back on track. I stated my position, the numbers are true, you can check it. Okay, that's all I can say. Now, moving on. Mr. English, as asked.
The school system, we go to that, gets taxed off too, right?
Mr. English.
That's your employee, right?
Has asked to come to the board to discuss the situation with the school project.
Yeah, thank you for your time. We'll try to be brief here. Want to give you guys an update on the track and tennis projects. We're not asking for money. We have had delays in the projects. There's been a transition of architects within the firm that we've been working for. We've been very frustrated with that. Our question for the BMA is your thoughts and feedback about the possibilities. And I think Dr. Bogert, Mr. Bailey, I wasn't there, and Mayor White may have been there. They met with one of the architects and Thompson Litton at the fishery. Talked about the feasibility, the financial savings to put 2 tennis courts, and you've got the drawings there, conceptual drawings for the possibility of this at Fisher, along with the renovations that you've done with the grants. So the question is this: what is the town BMA's feelings about, instead of 4 courts in between the high school and Love Chapel, which is where we want them, just to be honest, but between excavation and cost escalations, that's proven to go up and up and up as we wait, along with the track project. So our question for the BMA is your thoughts about adding 2 courts to Fishery, so that there would be 4 courts there. 4 courts is what you need to host tournaments and whatnot, which has been, our goal, again, for the citizens and certainly for our students and student athletes who play tennis. Just want to get your feelings about your thoughts on possibly adding 2 courts at Fishery instead of 4 in the original location. And in all honesty, it's the difference between about a $650,000 project and a $250,000 to $300,000.
Mr. English, when do you think, so you've got the money to completely put those tennis courts in?
Well, here's where we are, to be honest with you. Track and tennis is, and when we came to you before, they're both priorities. Track needs a field house, needs resurfacing. One of the things we have found out with the track, it's not the right lane when it was designed 30 years ago. So it's going to have to be expanded. There's going to have to be another lane added. That's contributed to delays in that. Our problem is we need to wait until we find out the cost of both projects, or we can look at our funding and see what we can make happen within those budget dollars that we have. So we're just looking at the possibilities of cutting where we can cut, which would include the possibility of 2 tennis courts at Fishery instead of 4. Again, we prefer 4 at the high school. That's logistically better, but we just, in brainstorming within our means and what the costs are, the feasibility of that. So we want to get your all's thoughts and feedback. I think you all met, is it Monday or Friday?
Maybe you want to talk to the board about, since you're the former public works director and you know that site there, can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
what you think about the possibility of this happening?
We went out there and looked where the playground is and over, if you're facing the playground to the left, up in between the softball field, the current softball field and the playground, there's plenty enough room in there, and we'll pick up some parking in that as well. You can see where it lies in this picture that they've sent. It's a pretty good place for it. You go up there, and like you said, I guess it's TWSAA.
Yeah, that's their sport.
Yeah. And we've got those 2 that are brand new out there, and they said it was okay to use the pickleball lines as well as the tennis lines, so that would give 2 to 4 more pickleball courts too, as well.
And just like the other courts, I mean, certainly when our tennis athletes are not using it for practice, it's open for the citizens. I mean, it's going to be open for everyone. During tennis and during the times that our student athletes practice or have matches, of course, we would need the courts, but otherwise, we understand to be citizens.
We've been with that since '97, since the creation
Tracks
of the
and-
high school, the city and the school superintendent didn't have an unwritten agreement that the high school would play out there. But then since there's ever a problem there, over a 20-year period.
Well, we just came before you because we
What
thought
do
that
you
was
need
the
from this?
original
What
place.
do you need?
Just the okay to pursue the 2 courts at Fishery. And again, we're just going to do a cost analysis, but we don't want to go down the road on that work without your approval. Then we get there and need to come back. If that is feasible, depending on the finances, we just wanted approval from you guys to pursue that and then execute it if that's where it lands.
Any discussion from Mr. English? Anyone else? Anyone else?
I would like to see the resources brought here and have the functional tennis team locally, because I've seen students drive to Johnson City, and I've seen that they've had to get on the interstate. I know we can't commit to today. I do agree that we need to come back to it in a work session to work out the details, but I would like to see the resource here for the team.
So you really can't do anything out there until we give you the okay as far as doing any planning or anything.
Right now, tentatively, they think they can be ready to put the tennis courts out for bid end of October. And possibly have those courts ready for this coming season.
So we could have a work session, Dr. Hampton, next week.
Tom. Mr. Seeley, am I allowed to comment?
Yes.
Okay. It would be great place to have it, because I'm not sure why we did away with those other 2 courts, to begin with, because we're left with 2 courts for the whole community. So
Those courts
would
in
be
the
a great
back
solution.
were just destroyed, they had cracked, and it was a foundation of a building from the old fishing school that they built upon, and that's why we didn't go back there with them. But according to Mr. Bailey, as he knows that part back in his hand, it looks like he understands, and we'll look at it too, go there, the ground solid and so forth.
What does include, pickleball courts?
Right. Is that gonna include fencing and lighting, Mr. English?
Yes.
Okay.
Originally out there though, whenever that was examined, we were told that the ground was not suitable to support it.
That was the
That
ground.
was in the field, that was in the field at the old softball.
That's where we had talked about that.
That's at the old softball. Okay, how about, Tuesday? It's coming Tuesday, 4:00. Everyone have a work session then, everyone have a
Do we
problem?
need to ask Ryan about planning and zoning if there is?
Ryan, we don't have anything on Tuesday, do we?
No, it's no, we just had a design review on Wednesday.
Okay. So, how about you, John? You good? How about 4:00
I can be
Tuesday?
there at 4:30, but you can leave me out.
Well, let's just go 4:30, because I think we need you there, and you're supporting me. 4:30, guys?
4:30.
Mr. Baker, is that good for you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand why we would have a work session if the school system is gonna pay for it. I feel like we could just approve it tonight and go ahead and make that commitment. Are we needing a work session just to work through
Ask
like
Dr. Hatch.
the plans?
I feel like we need to know more details, though, so that's just not an agenda item.
Right.
Oh, so, I don't want to wait for agenda and all that sort of stuff like that, and not have a thorough discussion about this, so that everybody feels comfortable with what they're saying.
But that still gives you time to, by the next week's the meeting.
Sure.
And then we can have it on, if we, we can get the facts and we can put it on the agenda for a vote.
Yeah, what factors do you provide? Like what we need to be able to provide as far as like 2 tennis courts,
Yeah,
like.
let's just discuss a little bit further about what the dimensions are, how you fit within that, and Tim could sure add a lot to that, we're gonna pay for it.
I should know if we need to provide something specific, just any questions you have specific to it. It's really the same design as we planted here for the 2 sport courts, just be 2 courts. Yeah.
And so we've got to
I'm not
have,
against it, I'm
Yes.
just saying that.
Sure.
well, we can't vote on it tonight anyway.
Sure.
So why not go ahead, Mike, I mean, you got to vote too, and Dr. Hatch.
Yeah, the only, if we're talking specifics, the only specifics I would have would be, as long as Mr. Seeley's good with it, if we're allowing another entity to build upon our property, and then, I feel like we would have to research it just a little bit more, because there was different parts of that property, it was piecemeal together, and there was deed restrictions about whether or not you could charge or block off.
I don't think that part you can't charge for what, maybe.
I'm sending out some information on that through that Blue Cross Blue Shield grant. So that's another thing we would need to look at too, are those large plans.
I think it's,
Probably applying for a $6 million grant.
That's the 3 concepts I had too, is that comparing the locations and stuff to the grant, that we put in for Fishery Park, looking at how it's gonna affect the budget, even though the money's coming from them, and then, look at the liability when you go in with another stakeholder.
well, also, I think it's kind of comes under the same rule as the gathering place where the county owns it and we use it. So I think, whatever agreement we have with the county, I don't see why Mr. Seeley's going to work up the same agreement with the school system. Correct, Mr. Seeley?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Amos, if I'm right, then, would you have something?
Yeah, I think we're just having to report on the front end of work session and then go from there.
Okay.
Tuesday, 4:30.
That's 4:30 Tuesday. Is that good? All right, thank you, Mr. Chambers.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, consideration approval of the bid for the town events management. There were 2 that applied, Rise Urban Leadership and the Greenville County Chamber of Commerce. I asked Mr. Seeley to look into those 2 organizations to see if they qualify. Mr. Seeley, would you like to make a report on that I asked you to do on
You did, there was an issue with our conflict of interest policy with regard to the Chamber of Commerce. And that is, if there's a person that's employed by the Chamber of Commerce, it's also an officer with the town, and Ms. Huskins is, according to our policy, that does create a conflict of interest that would preclude them from submitting a bid.
and that disqualifies them, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It is
so
a
what we
conflict of
have
interest.
now, we have 1 organization that's still left in the bid. Michelle, I
Can
can't
I
let you
state
leave.
some facts on tourism dollars?
I'm not gonna let you speak, no.
Okay.
Comments from the citizens are over.
Okay. It's
Thank you.
over $30.8 million
That's
in
fine.
tourism
It's
dollars,
already
so
been-
just so you know.
Miss Michelle, please.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, okay, I'll open the floor for discussion on the remaining, organization bid for town events. This is Rise Urban Leadership. Any discussion?
We should have, and usually when we accept a bid from anybody, we would have them make a presentation. I mean, and the board should be able to ask them any question.
Well, you got the presentation packet, so I think, and, they gave the presentation, so, well, the packet is the presentation.
Packet for presentation, the policy now.
I'm assuming that it is.
Usually when people submit a bid, regardless of whatever it is, they're able to come up and explain their bid.
Well, I thought they explained it pretty good in the proposal.
That's on some of the words on record, but it's because of the ordinance of the VA. So, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
Tom, can you please, just so that it's publicly
That
said,
disqualifies
Go back
her,
over it.
or that disqualifies that vehicle.
It's the chamber. The conflict of interest is on the side of the chamber, the entity submitting the bid. And that is on our, in that policy with the submissions of our bid, is that conflict of interest. So that lies with the chamber, the person that's submitting the bid.
So is it correct that I can be part of this conversation legally now?
Yes, you can.
Now, going back to what Mr. Baker says, I consider the proposal from Rice or leadership, their bid and their presentation, Mr. Well, you are president of Rise.
That's correct.
You're more than welcome, you have signed the documents, you're more than welcome to come to the podium. And if anyone has any questions to ask you, since you represent Rise as their president, would you do that, please?
Absolutely. I may call on some other members of leadership to
That'd be fine.
answer specifics if there's something that I'm not.
So we'll do that, Mr. Baker, we can do that. Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr.?
Viola.
Well, I'm sorry, there. Okay, does anyone have any questions for him?
Well, I'll ask a question because we got an email from Mr. Bailey about 501c3 designation, bank account, board of directors. So could you answer those questions?
So, yeah, we are a 501c3. I can provide documentation via mail on that if you would like. And you said bank account, yes, we have two bank accounts that we operate. One is our general fund and the other is specifically for the farmers market, which handles the dollars that are provided by the health department to allow kids to purchase items at the farmers market. So we have that account that we operate as well. We have around $15,000 general fund available to help support events and initiatives that we do. As far as a board of directors, we have a leadership that is elected. We have 2-year cycles for most of our positions, with our presidency being a 3-year commitment, starting with vice president, then becoming president, then serving in an advisory role as past president. Most of the elections take place every 2 years, with there being a presidential election every year, so there's continuity.
Do you have a secretary and treasurer?
We do.
Okay, okay, thank you, because that wasn't, but I didn't know if you knew it's in your packet or not, if that's good enough. Any other questions that would like for Ms. Ball?
You're being only included 3 events, is that all you?
Those were the events that we have history with and we're interested in continuing. We are happy to have discussions with the town about us being involved with other events, if there are events that the town would like to see continue. As I understand, there are not other bids in place that would carry on some of those activities. It's something that we would have to talk about with our membership and our leadership to make sure that we are able to commit to that. We are a volunteer organization, so all of our time that is spent on these events comes when people are able to do it. We wanted to commit to doing these 3 events that we had history with. We would love to do more if we were able to, but that's something that I'll have to discuss with our membership and leadership.
Since it is a volunteer organization, you feel like that you can support me through all of those events, to help the volunteers that you have to get that.
Yes, sir, I do. Specifically, the Great Outdoor Festival, when it was created solely by volunteers. We wanted to see a fun festival that the community could rally around and could highlight some of our wonderful tourism in this area. We have a great base of supporters and volunteers who are more than willing to step up and continue to be involved with these things.
Any other questions? President?
I think if I remember correctly, I had some inaccuracies in it. In the Erwin record reported on April 29th of 2016, and credited Keeling Parking at the Outdoor Festival and its creation. And WJHL on July 4th, 2015 credited the chamber for beginning the 4th of July. So while you all, I know that you took over and helped, I just wanted to.
Yeah, from what I understand about the 4th of July parade, it wasn't something that we created. The 4th of July parade was going to be discontinued as far as a town-sponsored event. And Rise was asked, this was before my tenure with Rise, and Rise was asked to help continue that. So that's when we got involved and became kind of the front runner for that. And then several things like the Great Outdoor Festival, like
and that's great. Rise was created to fill a gap, and that gap didn't exist. We continued to do what we could, to help support those events. The gap is in existence again as the town is not going to continue overseeing these events. So we want to step back into a place that we're comfortable with, a place that we've been before, and help see these great events continue in our town.
The last thing I would like to address about inaccuracies is my response to the statement at the end mentioning my name specifically. That's not true. It's not true. And to assume that is the reason in a new proposal is inappropriate.
Any other comments or?
Yes, I did feel that some of the comments were inappropriate when we were looking at bids. I mean, when I was wanting to look at the bids and compare them, I would really just like to know what you're doing for the event.
I can completely understand that. I believe some of us felt that it was appropriate for us to just try and tell you more about who we were as an organization and some things that, whether or not they were true, were things that we were led to believe as true.
I just would have, I would have just been more interested in some more interest points. How many times do you meet? How many hours do you put in? Because I personally like community service and do a lot of it myself. And I would have just liked to know that part of your organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
From a positive point.
Yeah. I'd be happy to share that with you and every member of the BMA. Our meetings are open to the public. You're welcome to come and meet on the third Thursday of every month. And we'd be happy to have any and all of you at our next meeting.
I've never personally, that I remember, ever been invited to a meeting. That was also in here. So the first time I've been invited was with you.
Sure. I haven't invited all of you personally. I know I've invited some of you at different times. Mayor and I had a conversation about that in the past. And I don't know. I want you to know this.
You've been invited on that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we don't try to be a divisive organization. More than anything, we want to see this town come together around community events, to gather together, to have a good time, to celebrate this wonderful town that we have here. We want to work with the chamber, with the BMA, with the Economic Development Board, with any other investing community partners to make this a great place to live and work so that we can just enjoy our town together. We have no crazy ambitions to turn this into anything other than a great town to live and work and grow up.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr.
When and where to meet? Y'all want to go?
Yeah, so our meeting location varies from month to month. This past month we met right over here at the coffee house. So depending on how many people are going to be present, it may change the size of the venue. But if you would like to get in touch with me, I can give you, I can put you on our email list and we will send that out there.
Okay.
Y'all have supported websites.
We had a website in the past. For the way our organization functioned, it wasn't always necessary or useful to have a website. Most of our direct communication comes through email, and that's typically the way that we relay information. We also have a Facebook page. Most of what it does is to highlight community events that are taking place, or new businesses, or things that are going on.
Okay. Anything else for the president?
No, to what Alderman Vaughn said, the town of Erwin created the communications position as a part-time position with Keely Clarkey when she was doing, she was the managing editor at Erwin Record and here, and then that's about the time that Rise, I guess, formed and Jamie was hired. So yeah, the Outdoor Festival kind of, it started at the town of Erwin, Glen Rose, and Keely, and Rise was boots on the ground volunteers to make it happen.
Any other questions?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say something.
Go ahead.
First of all, represent the citizens. I do not sit up here to represent the chamber in any way. I assure you of that. I made that perfectly clear to Amanda and to my board of directors before I even ran for this position. So I represent the citizens. I personally do not believe that the town should funnel money into events in a position to support select events, especially when there's only less than $100 left in the fund balance. or when our fire department needs air packs, or just like the mayor was saying, he listed, you heard all the things he listed that we need. You get the point. And when you barely escape a tax increase, but are allocating that kind of money to events in a position, something needs to be looked at. I never had a citizen ask why the town doesn't host more events, but I have plenty who ask about the budget, worry about tax increases, and worry about our infrastructure. I feel like I'm in a very, very unique position to address this, because I am the tourism director for the Chamber of Commerce, and I have worked for the Chamber of Commerce for over 20 years. I love this town, and I, of all people, know what tourism does for our town and what tourism does for our local businesses. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have these events. I absolutely think that we should have these events. I know that events are crucial parts to our town, to any town. I just think there's a better way that doesn't involve any more burden on our taxpayers. And now that I can speak freely and legally, I just want to say that the town shouldn't be in the business of events. The events, any event, should be self-supporting with service support from the town, and they can absolutely be successful and self-supporting with collaboration of organizations like the Chamber of Rise and the EDB. You spoke about a divide. If this right here, this meeting didn't show that there's a divide, I don't know what it's going to take to show that there's a divide. And until there's a divide, until this divide is put to rest for whatever reason it came about, this town is going to suffer. This town is going to suffer financially. This town is going to suffer emotionally. And it's going to suffer mentally. Every one of these organizations are fine organizations, and they all have the best interests of the town at heart. So I don't understand why they can't work together without funding from the town to make these events successful and stand alone on their own 2 feet. I feel like this separation that has been perpetuated between the town and these organizations is ridiculous, and we need to bring the adults to the table to put something to work that is feasible to make these events work and keep them going and have them grow. And I think that we have the organizations in place. We just need to get the organizations to work together.
There are other events that take place during the year that are totally separate from being county funded, chamber funded, or urban funded. We allow, like the bicycle race, we allow that to take place, we sign off on it, doesn't cost us a dime. Other than Reagan has to go out there and control, just garbage, just and all those things associated with those things. That's just one example, but there's several of those events that take place that have nothing to do, with who, where, and when within these different organizations. I kind of lean with Kathy. It's very hard to, since we only have one bid with that, it's very hard to say this one's the most important versus the other one. I was down in the Apple Festival this party, and it was a totally volunteer thing when the Apple Festival started. And the first few years, booze for $5 or something other than do it all together. Then the chamber came in and made it a big deal. But it's self-sufficient, it supports itself. And I don't see why the other events is very important, why they can't support themselves.
Any other comments?
I said before, I don't want to rehire this position for fund events because there's $135,000 a year that we can save. When you think about infrastructure, you're talking about sidewalks at $600,000. If you do a 5-year loan, that amount of money will pay for every sidewalk to be repaired. We can have the sidewalks repaired in a year and have it paid off in 5. It doesn't make sense because our government, our job is to be sure that we have everything in place for the citizens here, and I feel like they should go out to bid and let people bring them before the board and bid them in and save that money and look at what we can do with it to improve things for everybody.
I will say one thing I think is positive about these projects, it's good to know actually who Rise is. Some folks, I mean, I've been a member of this town for a long time. locker room. It's kind of an invisible organization with just a name. For me, no.
That was on purpose. Like, we didn't, yeah, Rise didn't want to take credit for anything that was ever.
But any event that came up, it had to rise labels and this stuff.
Where?
All of them.
On Facebook, we're just sharing awareness, like, hey, this is
She
what.
can talk now. Hold on.
I'm
We just
that.
made up.
That's fine.
I'm just saying it's a positive thing. It's a positive thing for having this change.
We do.
Absolutely.
That way, when we bring the table, I know it put a face to something, it helps me to be able to organize and say, well, yeah, we can do this to fix. Here's some volunteers that will be willing to do this. Here's something we can support because I know this is what they stand for. But up until now, I haven't.
If we have an order meeting, and let's do that. On the work session for Tuesday, board members, I would like to put on there the possibility that we need another central office staff. I looked at that communication budget. Well, whatever we decide to do with the festivals, whether we fund them or we don't, that was $57,000 of that budget for advertising the festival. $78,000 left, higher positions. We are down one. We're waiting on the MTAS report, but we don't have time to wait on the MTAS report. Taxes are coming in, and we need that other position. So I would like to put that on the agenda also, okay? Let's put that on the agenda. We'll put this.
I'd like to comment on that, please.
Okay.
We already have that position in place because it's
Let me finish,
downstairs.
please. Yeah.
We do not.
No, that's fine. Listen. Hang on there, and I'll address that. Okay. We'll put Ms. English on first. Okay. And then we'll put whatever we want to do with the festivals, whether we want to fund it or not.
That's fine, but let's say we need to go back to Jim and deal with this issue we're having right now. Are we going to accept the bid or not?
Do I have a motion to accept the bid?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
You know, we talked, Dr. Hacker mentioned the chamber or the Apple Festival. We support the chamber and the Apple Festival to the tune of approximately $30,000 a year. Make that known that we spend a lot of money in that event as well with overtime and support staff. So it's not that we're not supporting one or another. So we have a lot of skin in that game as well.
And I also mentioned that, Michael, that the support that the town gives in that way, that should be given to all, in my opinion, that should be given to all events.
I agree.
But money handed out to support those events, that's what I was saying, money out of our general fund to make an event happen, that's what I don't agree with.
And Matt Moses brought it back, you know, there is TCA code that states about the lodging tax that money has to be reinvested into tourism-based activities. So, again, we may not want to hire that position now, but we have to do something with that money. If not, I would feel confident Comptroller Ron Powers has something to say.
Same with the art funding.
I do believe that tourism is also covered through your paving because that is tourist use the paving. Check it out. Because it improves your infrastructure for tourism to be able to come in, so that tourism money can go towards infrastructure.
Mr. Bailey will make sure those monies go in the right places on that lodging tax. Now, getting back to what Dr. Hatcher says, which is correct, staying on the agenda. We have one bid from Rise Leadership to do three festivals for us at the cost of $28,000. Do I have a motion for approval?
I make a motion as presented.
Thank you, Alderman Leonard. Do I have a second? Okay, the motion dies for lack of a second. Moving on, our information, as we stated, Tuesday will be a work session, and we will discuss the tennis courts. I also want to put on there the discussion, and we'll have that discussion in Alderman Vaughn about hiring an additional central office staff, which we need, and I think we can make that discussion there. And also we'll discuss possible personnel moves there, okay, and discuss the pros and the cons of that there, okay. Concerning the events, we don't have, concerning the events, what do you want to do for as a board? Do you want to discuss that on the work session?
Yes.
On Tuesday, okay?
Yes,
So
I
that,
would like more information from the organization.
okay, so you all know that we will have a work session Tuesday here at City Hall at 4:30.
You want more information from Rise?
Yes.
And what do you want?
I will.
You'll talk to
Yeah.
the president, okay? All right?
So, I just, to be clear, Mayor, the whole intent, because this bid process was
Yeah, it was.
your idea.
Uh-huh.
So the intent was to save money,
What's
but
that?
you're not even second a motion to accept the bid to save money.
No.
Okay.
With that being said, any other discussion from the board? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye, we are adjourned.